Hello, everybody. So I'm going to be talking about the full moon in Capricorn, which is on June 24th. It is at 2:40 p.m. Eastern time. The moon is also what we call out of bounds. So I'm going to talk about that. And I'm going to talk about the lunar phase family, the lunar gestation phase family that this full moon is connected to, and how we can potentially use these energies and what may come up. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen and we will show you. First off, there we are. This is the chart that we're looking at. The full moon, here's the date and time for my latitude and longitude. I'm on the East Coast of the United States. Here's that full moon, the sun in Cancer. So of course, we're focusing in on home and family and caring and nurturing and what that looks like. And the full moon, the moon rules Cancer. So the moon represents just what I said already, home, family, caring, nurturing. But in the sign of Capricorn, that's a little bit different. So when the moon is in the sign of Capricorn, that's my Capricorn. I have this moon. Mine is 0 Cap. This moon is important in some ways because, you know, it's going to show us full moons are full awareness. All the light is out. Everything is on the table. Everything is here for us to see. When the sun's above the horizon, it's light. When the moon's above the horizon, she's reflecting as much light as she possibly can. There is nothing hidden when we're at a full moon. Everything is on the table. So we're in full and complete awareness of what's going on around us. And if you're not, well, I don't know what to tell you. You should have some awareness of what's going on around you. This is when just everybody comes out, right? And we've heard of the phrase lunatics, and that comes from the luna, from the sun and the moon, and when it's a full moon. Anyways, let's move back. Let's move on. So another thing that's going on with this full moon is that we're now in a cycle where we have the moon, what's called out of bounds. So if you were to watch the moon through the sky at night every month, you would see that sometimes it doesn't come up in a straight line. Sometimes it comes up far north. To me, that's north, and far south, that's south. And so that's called declination. And sometimes it goes out of bounds, which is beyond the path of the sun. So needless to say, that's the science of it. Hope you didn't glaze over too fast. What this means is like we feel a little bit rebellious. We do not want to conform to what is the norm in society. Now, this only happens for a couple of days around the full moon. Some people are born with a moon out of bounds, and you're always going to be somebody, no matter what your zodiac sign, no matter what sign the moon is in your birth chart. If your moon is out of bounds, you're always going to be somebody who feels just a little bit out of center for what society requires from you and me. Now, during this full moon in Capricorn, Capricorn is all about, it represents, our security, our rules, our regulations, boundaries, time constraints, authority figures, landowners, real estate. Let me give all this list, the foundations, our career, our reputation, all of these things. They don't all have to resonate with you. One of them might, none of them might. But if they don't resonate, that you have an issue with any of those, then these can be goals that you can shoot for. More security, a more secure home, real estate, a better job. There's a lot of people getting back to work now as well. Finally, after a long break, things are starting to come back so people can be employed again and feel a little more security. Some people are going to feel insecure during this time frame too. The full moon is going to, and what it always does is it brings that awareness to us. And you will hear different stories. And that is extreme, that's valid, completely valid when you hear things on both sides of the fence. How some people are feeling very secure. They've never been more secure in their life. And then there's other people that are so insecure, they don't even know where they're going to sleep tonight. This full moon in Capricorn, and as it's out of bounds, should definitely stir up news and information, just news from, of course, news. They're going to start talking about it. They're already talking about it, but there will be some big stories coming out soon in any of those categories. I'm looking at now. Let me stop my share here. And let's see, what else do I want to talk about? Okay. So I don't want it to sound so negative, honestly, because that's not my intention. I'm just wanting you to know if this is part of your life, you're aware of it. If you're a person who works with others like myself and you're not an astrologer, this is going to give you that information that your clientele, your clients may be feeling these insecurities or needing guidance here. So guide them through your knowledge and experience. And with that moon out of bounds too, it isn't always like I have to be a rebel, because I don't feel like being a rebel. I rarely feel that way. I don't like confrontation either. My moon's not out of bounds. And even when it's like that in the sky, there are some positive ways to use this. We will have it's just like being on the tall building. You can actually see the city as opposed to being down on the first floor, right? You get a bigger picture, and you're going to be able to step out of just your typical view. So keep that in mind too, because I think that is really helpful for us to find a new way to set up or feel more secure. What is that for you? It could be very unique and different. And it's warm today. It's warm. I don't have my fan running because it's too noisy with my recording. So anyways, back to you. All right. Now, this full moon is also connected to a lunar family. Now, what are lunar families? Lunar families is we have a new moon, a first quarter, the full moon, which is the one we're talking about right now, and then the last quarter back to a new moon. That takes 3 years. So here's some dates that I'm going to give you, and I probably should pull that chart up. Let's pull that up. Oh, I'm not sharing. So here we are. This is what the full moon looks like today, right? Well, June 24th. What I want you to see is it was at 3 degrees of Capricorn. Here's a new moon. Here is a new moon at 4 degrees of Capricorn. They're going to be in different locations, so just watch my mouse. I'll show you where it is. Here's the new moon at 4 degrees of Capricorn, new moon event, December 26, 2019. This is the beginning of the current lunar phase family. All right. Look back to December 26, 2019, what was beginning. You may know what you were beginning. Look at your journals, look at your calendars. And it could also be something that you don't know was beginning, but you have information today, 18 months later, and we can look back to that time period and see what was going on. We know the pandemic was beginning then, but we didn't know it. I went and I even looked at the news for the national and the global news for December 26, 2019. I think I looked at the New York Times, and there was nothing talking about the pandemic, but we know this is when it was getting going over in China. So, but you don't have to focus on that if you don't want to, but that is one of the threads that's going with this new moon that is related to the full moon that we have coming up on the 24th of June. So this one, look at your chart, look at your world, look at your journaling. How are you feeling? What was beginning at that point in time relating to Capricorn qualities? We already mentioned that. You can roll back, or I can tell you one more time, our boundaries and our real estate and our home and our security and our careers and our reputation, all of those things. There was something new beginning at that point in time. It was right there with Jupiter. So I would have, if you've been watching these forecasts, I would have been telling you to make sure and set new goals based off of your career, your reputation, your security. All right. Now, the next event before we get to the full moon is 9 months later, because it's a gestation period and it sounds just like our human gestation. Here it is, September 23rd, 2020. And here's that moon it's in similar area, 1 degree of Capricorn. So the moon and the sun are square. That's called the first quarter. At that point in time, things would have been beginning. Things would have been feeling different. We would have been very much aware of what's going on in our world. What is it that what were we working towards? What were we, how were we feeling? Were you still feeling insecure and worried? I know a lot of people had security through this whole thing. I know quite a few people that did. And I know equally amount of people, maybe more, that did not feel secure. But personally, what was it personally? I can't talk about your personal endeavor because I don't know what it is. But it most likely is those Capricorn qualities that I've already listed. So looking at that security, home security, family security, supplying what your family needs. So there was a lot of unknown, but we knew more at this point than we did back in December in 2020. All right. So now we're at that full moon. We're back to that full moon. And so here again, all we have is light. We're able to see everything. Everything is on the table. So you're able to, I want you to focus on what is thriving and continue to grow with that. I can stop my share right now. I want you to continue to grow, to look at what's growing, what's thriving, what makes you feel secure with that foundation, that security, home and income is like the base of the pyramid when it comes to how secure we feel. And this full moon is illuminating that this time around. Okay. Yeah. So it gives us that chance to make different choices. It's not better because we're always making choices from where we are at this point in time. So with the full moon, focusing on what's working is wonderful. But now I also want you to, because that full moon's all my people who love to do rituals and releasing rituals, especially, it's a time for releasing, for writing things out, burning it, and doing your releasing rituals and letting things go. So whether you go that far or not it doesn't matter, but be aware of what it is you need to let go of. What do you want to release? What is sucking the life out of you and is getting you nowhere? What's taking too much of your time and getting you nowhere? All right. So I want you to focus on those things and really take your time with it. I do have on my website, nhastrologer.com, I have this forecast written out that you can go to and read. And I've also written out there if this full moon is in each house, how that may also add content to the information of this reading here for you personally. All right. And live interaction regularly on my Patreon group. So please come and support me there. And I would appreciate that. And thank you guys. And have a blessed solstice. I know this is going up on solstice day and a blessed full moon. And if I can help you, just let me know. I'm here. Namaste.